I won't lie, as fulfilling and exciting as doing all these boat projects here in Aruba has been, it's also been pretty tough at points. The heat, bilge yoga, and constant disarray of our living space does start to tickle at your mental health after a few months. But we are on the home stretch, right? Just anti-fouling and a few more jobs to go, and we will splash again. What a relief, or not.
One of the bigger things that you're meant to check when you're out the water is how much play there is in the rudder. And we knew there was a little bit of play because in a big following sea, there's a knocking sound and it's kind of like a... And originally we thought it was something in the lazarette rolling around, maybe the spare anchor kind of clanging on the side of the hull. But after kind of fiddling around, we've realised that it is the rudder, and we do have, as you can hear, a fair bit of play. It's kind of hard to gauge how much. We think it could be up to an inch, but...
At the tip of the rudder.
Yeah, so down here. But here's the thing. We spent a long time yesterday deciding whether we were going to drop it. It's one of the biggest jobs you can do is to drop the rudder for many different reasons. But a lot of the times this would be fine. Like a bit of play, a lot of boats have a little bit of play and it's fine. It's not going to fall off. It's not dangerous, but if you start noticing more play, then you should drop it. And we're on the hard, and the last thing I want to do is go offshore and realise there's a lot more play and wish that we had dropped it. So for peace of mind, and yeah, for peace of mind, we're going to drop it. But we're hoping we are high enough out the water to high enough off the land to do so. We've only got this space, and we don't know how long the rudder stock is. It could be this, it could be a bit longer. So yeah, we're hoping that it will drop down to about here. However, we might have to end up digging a hole, and it's very hard deserty sand soil here, so that might be a bit challenging, but we won't think about that yet because for now we're just going to have a wiggle. Zach's going to go to the quadrant and see whether there's play in the quadrant, because if there is, that's great and we can tighten it there. So let's just see.
Okay, for those who don't know, this is where our bed normally is. We've moved all the mattresses to the side. The quadrant for the rudder is below here. So I'm going to open this up and I'm going to give Becca a shout and she's going to give it a bit of a move and we'll just see where the play is coming from.
This is too much.
Yeah.
You checked up there the quadrant. Is the quadrant moving or not?
The quadrant?
It's a tiny bit.
Yeah.
This is too easy. Yeah,
He's locked the quadrant now.
it's still moving.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that's something,
So then it's inside here.
and that's the big problem.
That's a bigger problem, yeah?
We might be opening a can of worms.
You always open a can of worms on a boat when you do something.
It sounds like it's really not good. If we have to end up rebuilding this rudder, we could be here a lot longer and a lot more money down. Boats, eh? Seems like we're going to need to
Drop it.
Yeah, but did he tell you what he said?
What?
He thinks it's inside the rudder.
Oh, really?
Could be a pin, stainless steel pin in the rudder, which would mean we'd have to rebuild the rudder.
It'd be one of those things. There was no time like the present to start dropping it, so we grabbed some blocks and propped it up.
A bit of the boat we've never seen.
We're just taking the quadrant apart at the moment, and what we need to do is get this key out of here. So there's a copper key that you can see in there. So when whoever installed this autopilot actually drilled through it a little bit, I think, which is interesting, but whatever. But before we do that, we need to take the quadrant apart, so that it needs to be basically broken in half. Not broken, we'll just unscrew it.
Please don't break it.
But before we do that, we need to take these eyes out, and what we're going to do is just mark up here, so if we do end up moving this bolt, we know where it was originally. Okay, there we go. Don't drop the bolt.
Yeah, good idea. Put it back on.
Oh,
There's the key!
the key came out easily at least.
This is 100%, 150,000% the right time to be doing this, but it has given me this kind of pit in my stomach. I've never ever been quite as, not intimidated, but like mildly scared of a boat job as I am this, and I'm just trying to feel it and overcome it because it's the best thing. And if you want to know your boat inside and out, you need to take things apart. Like there's no other way around it. But it's a big one, this. Biggest one yet.
I loosened off these holding bolts, I guess it would be. I imagine there's little divots in the threads here, so these sit in there nicely. Screw. Yeah, basically like a set screw. And this whole thing now is spinning.
Oh my gosh. It looks good though.
Yeah, that all looks fine, doesn't it?
Doesn't look bad.
Hello.
So is this the shaft, or is the shaft in it?
This is the shaft.
Okay, well hopefully it always is that shiny.
We're not below the waterline yet though, so... No. So it's all undone in there in our cabin. What we need to do now is try and get the skeg loose. We've got a load of wood beneath here to hopefully catch it if it does suddenly come loose. But there's 4 big bolts through this brass or bronze skeg here, which is holding onto the rudder. We just need to dig out all of the...
There's 8.
Is it?
No, it's the other 2.
Oh yeah, sorry, 8 bolts holding it all in. And a lot of Sikaflex or sealant or something along here holding the skeg on. So Becca's going to start cutting and I'm going to start digging out the bolts.
Lovely.
Good thing we were doing this because look how eaten that is. What? That's crazy.
That's why you need anodes hooked up. Ours weren't hooked up last year when we got the boat, so. So you can now see the back of the skeg. Yeah. Ah, it fell! Zach is off! Can you take it from me?
Yeah.
I hold.
Yeah. Do you mind to? Shall I take the wood out?
Yeah, take it out. Take just one bit.
Okay.
Okay, slowly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa!
Okay, and I think again, one more bit of wood and we'll go again.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, up and down. Right.
Yep. Up on the top. Nice. Got it? Yeah.
Okay, slowly. Yes.
Step up your toes.
Mind your head. Yeah, it's
Oh,
out.
yeah, it's out. Oh, thank God, we didn't have to dig a hole.
Looks like new. Yeah, it's good.
So what's been our kind of crappy discovery here?
We thought this might be an issue with it, but I think the main issue is this. Becca's sitting on it right now. That wiggles, which
really
means we've got to like take apart the rudder now and probably rebuild a good bit of it. I don't know if one of the arms in here is broken off or loose or something, but something's not right in here. Water's obviously got inside and has done
damage
stuff in here, so.
Again, yeah. Okay, that is clear.
Before we could investigate further, we needed to sand back the years and years worth of anti-foul to reach the gel coat.
Zach has sanded back the rudder now, as you can see, and I think this grey is either a fairing or just the old anti-foul had like stained it, or not too sure, but we have got a really good base now to work with. So essentially in a second I'm going to go around and draw an inch line where Zach is then going to use the multi-tool to cut a shallow cut the whole way around. The reason we're doing this is we're hoping we can lift up this whole top panel without it cracking, because then we can really lay it back on once we've filled it with foam again. We're hoping this is what the inside is going to look like, or very similar, and that's obviously the outside. And then once we've lifted that top panel up, we're hoping these tangs are in here And fingers crossed, in the best case scenario, it's just the foam is all rotten and the tangs are fine. We do have some rusting down here, so maybe it will be a bolt that's rusted. Best case scenario. Worst case scenario, a tang has broken or rusted and we need to cut another incision here and take the entire shaft out. So you've cut
around it.
Yeah, and what now?
I don't know. Well, we thought that this might be able to peel up, but I think the construction of this might be a bit more solid than we thought.
This is why I'm just so surprised that we've got an issue with it, because everything on this boat is laid up so well, and it's always like people always comment how overly thick the shaft is and how overly engineered everything is, and it just shows that, I don't know, once you get a little bit of water ingress somewhere, it can just wreak havoc into a normally really good bit of the boat.
Okay.
It's just fiberglass, so we need to...
That is wood.
It's wood! Is it balsa?
I don't know what it is. It's wood though, and it's a bit wet.
Our rudder isn't foam, it's wood. It's wood.
There's wood inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
Balsa, I think.
Huh. It's fiberglass, balsa, fiberglass. Imagine it's sandwich construction.
Yeah.
That. I'm not even back to like the middle bit yet.
There's a lot of epoxy in there.
There's so much epoxy in there. It's actually,
Like, how did water must have just got in there, but like, how did it
is, that's
spread to there through the wood?
because it would have followed this along, and then all of the core, that middle core. I'm hoping there's gonna be another bit of core under here in a minute. Oh, it's annoying it moves because like so much of this is so good still.
I know. So we've got down to the metal,
Yeah, you can see it moving.
which is there.
Only just. Yeah.
It looks like it's got some corrosion.
Yeah, it does have a little bit. It's only surface though, which is nice. Yeah.
What are these called? I keep calling them tangs, but they're not tangs. Rakes? I don't know. Bars.
Bars,
There's one there.
Threaded bars.
Threaded bars.
It's moving around the bolts.
Ah, probably because of the corrosion.
Yeah, it's the corrosion in the bolts. So the bolts are staying solid, but the shaft is moving.
By now, it was really clear we needed to get the entire metal structure out of the rudder, so it's time to get chiselling.
So it's day 2 on digging into our rudder. Yesterday we cut this initial section, and today we continue. The goal for today is to try and get these tangs out and the rudder shaft completely out. So tomorrow, which is Monday, we can drop it to the guys who can weld it, fingers crossed. But yeah, as you saw yesterday, it's not an easy job by any means, is it? Because of all the epoxy. So I'm just going to go in with a ruler now and mark out where we think the tangs are, so Zach can then work in and try and get them out. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just say that we have no idea how long these tangs are. We're hoping they're quite long, like maybe that long.
I would assume the bottom one's longer, and then this one's the shortest one. But they might all just go up to there.
We genuinely have no idea, so Zach's going to obviously work from this way and just keep going until he stops seeing some tangs.
Yeah.
That's the plan. You've got this.
Yeah.
What's the discovery? Where? Oh.
I imagine that's where most of it's been coming in. Which is good and bad, which means we actually need to take that bit off.
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun to redo it. This is not so good. That black stuff is all where water's been sitting in there, and it's pretty disgusting. This has been just come off the shaft. The shaft would normally sit in there, but this is going to be a bit of a bigger job than we thought.
You know, yesterday we were really working hard to get the rudder stock free from the rest of the rudder. Well, we had a bit of a moment, because last night a guy commented on a post we put on the Colvic Victor group on Facebook and said, "Ah, it's funny that yours only has 3 tangs, because when I took mine apart it had 4." And he drew this lovely photo of what his rudder looked like, and we thought, nah, ours doesn't have 4. Oh gosh, does it have 4? So we came down this morning, lo and behold, we think it has another one.
It definitely does. It's got one more there.
I mean, it wouldn't come out at this end, so yeah, we're going to be hacking away at the final tang, and hopefully then it will come free. One of those moments, honestly. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's out. We haven't actually loosened that at all. That is how it is.
Even when it's tight like that, how it was. See, that's... oh no, there's still movement in that.
But each one...
yeah, look at that bottom one.
Oh my gosh, Zach. We actually had steering failure just waiting to happen.
Ugh, there's just gunk in that.
It was completely wobbly.
All of them, they're all like, look.
Yeah.
Did you know what happened, why we couldn't get it off yesterday?
No.
They had one more in there at the top, like there.
Just there. We are really trying hard to keep up the morale on Tay-Lee now we found this rudder issue. It is a good thing because we found it now, but we were meant to be going back in the water this week originally, so it stings a little bit, but it is what it is. Anyway, keep the morale up. We heard yesterday that the little fuel station here at the marina sells ice creams, and I mean, is there any better way to boost the mood than getting an ice cream? I don't think so. So how's it been going?
It's getting there. It doesn't look as good now because I've just been scrubbing it again, but I'll wipe it in a bit when we come back and I'll show you.
Do you think the pitting is too substantial? That's the question.
I don't think so now, because like 95% of them I've got down to the bottom of now. And it's not bad. It doesn't look that great now, but I'll wipe it.
Why are we not just going to get a new rudder stock if we can?
It'd be really bloody expensive.
Yeah.
And we'd have to... I don't even know if they'd be able to do it on Aruba here. I don't know if they would have equipment to be able to machine this. They might do, but I think we'd probably end up wanting to take it to the States with us and getting it sorted there. But we'd have to take this whole thing with us because the taper's here and everything like that, and we couldn't really measure this and do it any proper justice. So we'd have to take it with us and go to a machine shop and get them to do it there. But I think it's going to be all right. Like these bits are getting there now, and it's looking so much better than it was.
Yeah, so much better.
And it's a super thick bit of steel, so I don't think that it's bad enough to warrant having to get a new one. So
yeah, so the Austrian guy on the boat next to us said it has to be 10% to start threatening the strength of it.
yeah,
Zach, should we go get an ice cream?
yeah.
Wow, we've never been in here. That's cool.
Yes.
quite new.
Yeah, we got told that you have ice creams and things, and we're in the boatyard, and we were like, we need to come save our day.
I never knew all this was in here.
How's the ice cream?
Good. Almost gone.
Yeah, it's dangerous now we know that place is there. Wow, it looks so much better, Zach.
There's a few very small ones left, which I'm being very stubborn, but
Wow, it looks way better.
like, look at that end as well.
Yeah, good job, Zach.
I don't think it's too bad. At this point, the shaft had been welded with new tangs, thicker but threaded rods, as they're the only ones available in Aruba. We also went for small triangular supports which were welded in the wrong place, but we were just going to glide over that and focus on the industrial weld job, as Becca's dad put it. Anyway, once all the rot was out, it was time to lay the shaft in. Good. There's one slight thing wrong with this thing though.
Oh yeah?
Line up your eye with this and look straight down the shaft. They all go slightly more like that. Look at it. It's not straight.
But he just drilled the holes we were doing.
The tangs would have been straight in there.
Well, that wasn't too great, but just rolling with the punches at this point, and it seems it will fit into the grooves nonetheless, so all is good in the end.
Oh, I forgot how heavy this was.
Yeah.
How much could that like across?
Okay, tell me where we're at with it.
Okay, well we've got the rubbish out of it basically. All we need to do now is clean it and prep it before tomorrow, but to get in all the cracks and crevices, we're looking for some compressed air, and they've got some over the kind of warehouse in the yard, so we're gonna go take this over there now, give it a like good spray with air, get it all out the cracks, come back, and then I'm gonna use alcohol on the whole thing to clean it properly.
Yeah, nice. Why not acetone?
Because alcohol works just as good and it's not really toxic.
Nice.
Just gonna water it so it grows up big and strong.
Yeah, that's what we need. Okay, so I've just finished one of the 2 fiberglass sheets cutting out, but I'm so itchy and the mosquitoes are out in full force tonight because there's no wind. So, and it's dark, so I can't see, as you can see by the camera not focusing. But one is done. This morning we have this setup going on, and the rudder is in there, and we are going to start the laying up process. Start and finish, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a thin layer of epoxy, then we're going to do a thickened layer, lay the shaft in, another thickened layer, and then wet up 2 sheets of fiberglass on top, and then peel ply, which will make it really smooth for tomorrow. So let's go. And another one of those. We're going to need loads more of this.
Yeah. Okay, if you're going to mix up another batch, I'll make sure this keeps on going through.
We've got the first thin layer of epoxy on, and what we wanted to do was use that as a way of filling any small cracks that we dremeled out, and just to give it a really good base. But now we're waiting for it to go tacky, but not too tacky that we can't get the tangs in, because we still need to do a layer of thickened epoxy before the tangs. So we want to make sure that we do it when it's not a hot mixture, because it will make the thickened epoxy really tacky. So yeah, it's a bit of a waiting game. And we're going to pounce when the moment's right. Fair enough.
Yeah, it should be fine. It just needs to be like, we need loads more there in there.
Yeah.
When we say this was a process, we really mean it. We sure weren't going to get it perfect, but we wanted to give it our best shot. Almost there.
Yeah, it's taken way longer than we thought.
It's now like 4 in the afternoon. We started at like 7.
We really thought it would take like 3 or 4 hours, but we want to do the job super properly. This is one of the most important things on a boat, so yeah, taking our time. What's the time?
Dinner time?
Probably. But we're still out here. I think it's like getting close to, I mean, it's getting a bit dark
It's
now.
almost 6, it's gotta be.
It's looking a lot more ruddery than it did this morning. We just need to wet lay up now, and we're going to do 2 sheets of fiberglass because we've got some pretty thick stuff.
And they're pre-cut, so.
And we pre-cut them last night. And then we have some peel ply which we're going to put on to get a smooth finish. But kind of ready to get out of itchy, sticky clothes now. The next morning, and annoyingly the forecasts were a little wrong overnight, and we thought we'd have a little sprinkle of rain, and instead we had a downpour for like hours overnight. The rudder luckily has cured really great. It is wet now.
Only a little bit in places.
Only a little bit. But we've had no clouding or anything like that. It had cured before it rained, luckily. But we ran out of epoxy last night, and someone in the yard offered us to use their Seahawk
equivalent
resin and catalyst, but after thinking about it, we thought actually, for what it's worth, we don't want to mix them, and we know West system and we trust it, so we decided to leave it. And now, because of the fact we've left it to cure, it won't have a chemical bond, but that's fine. We can still sand it back and lay another sheet on, but obviously we're not going to lay that on until it's fully stopped raining, so
it might not be for a few days.
it might not be for a few days. It's fine, we're in no rush. We want to do the job properly.
But it's looking good, isn't it?
It's looking really good, guys. We rebuilt our rudder. Look at that. It is the shape of a rudder.
With a paint of
sand
and anti-foul on that, you'll never know.
No, you really wouldn't. And I'm really proud of us. Look what we did. Got a rudder again. And it's solid. I don't want to lift that bit, but it's so much heavier than it was.
It is. The profile looks really good as well.
Yeah?
Yeah. That looks pretty spot on. That's heavy. This is the lighter end as well, it's more up that end.
Yeah, it's heavier than it was before.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, isn't it? The tangs are thicker and it's epoxy instead of wood in some places, so.
Is there is there a thing, oh my gosh, is there such a thing as too heavy a rudder?
Hopefully not, no.
It's solid, and we only really took the wood out from there, and there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach, there's a poor bug stuck in it.
That's right.
Rest in peace. Some kind people from the marina who are also in the yard have given us a lift into town on their dinghy, their supersonic 40 horsepower dinghy, which was so much fun. So yeah, fingers crossed this store behind us has the bits we're looking for. Nice, 143. They've got slow as well. Slow. They're all a bit crunked.
More West system secured, and after a quick sand and clean, it was time to get this final layer on. It is so important for the fiberglass to be fully saturated. So we were shoveling the epoxy on, just like they did in 1985 when she was built in a small yard on the east coast of the UK. Full circle moment for sure.
Okay, yeah. We then laid down the peel ply, which is a fabric used to manufacture composite materials to create a smooth surface and improve adhesion between layers.
Okay, so the peel ply is now on, and we've tried to get as many bubbles out as we can. It's our first time working with this stuff, and it is tricky to get the tiny bubbles out, especially when the layer of fiberglass we did the other day wasn't perfectly flat. But I think this is as good as it's going to get, and at least it's going to be a lot easier to sand even if we do have to sand it. So it's the next day now, and as you can see, the nemesis with peel ply are bubbles, and despite us trying our hardest to get them all out, some just appeared in the curing process, and we're fine with that, you know, we can just sand them off today. So yeah, we're gonna peel this up and see how it all looks. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hard to peel.
Oh.
Looks nice. So I don't know if we mentioned yesterday, but the peel ply basically sucks the resin to the surface to give it a smoother, it's definitely smoother than before, to give it a smoother finish.
Yeah, that's pretty good, eh?
Oh, there you go, that's what they were saying about the bubbles.
That's alright.
We can sell this hopefully.
It's better than it would have been anyway.
It's a lot better than it would have been. Really stuck in it. Yeah. It is definitely a better finish than it would have been.
Yeah, it's not a million miles off. It'll be a bit of work on that, but it's
Yeah,
not bad.
These are the ones that you want.
Yeah. That's cool though. I like that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool.
After a preliminary sand, is that even a term? It was time for the big dry fit.
If we just rest it, if you rest it on there, and then I think if I come up here, if you can just slide the wood with it, Becca.
Just lift it.
Wait.
Yeah, there you go. Up. Oh, it's tight. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go.
Yay!
Hey. Lovely.
Oh, looks good.
Yeah.
Are you holding it for a sec, Becca?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. That's pretty much as good as we've got that.
Maybe you want to turn it a little bit to look here,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
but I think it's enough.
Oh yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
So our rudder fits. So happy we just did our first dry fit and only dry fit, because now we know what we need to work on. The skeg didn't fit quite down this gap because there's a bit of epoxy over where the skeg used to fit, and this bit up here fitted fine, but it's rubbed off a little bit of old anti-foul, which means we think that the clearance was a bit less at this end than this end. So Zach's just going to give a light sand to this end.
We were also putting in a little bit of an angle at the top, so it might be because of that, but we can take it back a little bit.
Yeah, I think definitely take it back a little bit here, but apart from that, we're feeling so happy. It was always a bit of a risk that it might not fit, something we've messed up along the way, but it fits, and honestly, so happy.